So, Guppy, how have you been?
Oh, I've been good, dude.
All right, looks like we're live.
That's
Okay,
good to hear.
start with the usual spiel. Hi, I'm Umthoff Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers. You are listening to Eldritch Rants, the place that dares to ask the question: if a man who can't count, finds a four-leaf clover, is he lucky? This question and many more will be answered by our panel of experts. So please, in top to bottom order, introduce yourselves as you want to.
Hi.
Hello.
Greetings, I'm Mr. Murmur.
And I'm Mr. Gurr.
I'm pretty thick.
That works for me. Alrighty, as people who actually follow us, all six of you, I believe, we kind of wrapped things up early last night because, frankly, it was kind of depressing what the news was in regard to Syria, and was hoping that 24 hours would make some sort of change, and actually it has to some degree here. I did some research, on this, and, well, we got some conflicting reports here. We have the U.S. claiming that 61 missiles were launched. One failed, one was aborted. So 59 missiles traveled to the target of the airbase, and the Pentagon says all 59 hit. However, Russia, and I forget which the other country was, it wasn't Syria, it was somebody else, said only 23 missiles hit, and the targets were only of nominal importance, including a storage depot, a canteen, one aircraft hangar, and a radar station, and a bunch on the runway, but to be honest, the damage was listed as only nominal. The Pentagon says there were 6 killed in the attack. The Pentagon says 7 were killed, but Russia says there were 6. Now, my whole thing on this matter is that getting involved in Syria is against what pretty much everybody who supported Trump wanted. A lot of people are standing by him just because he's Trump, and a lot of us are hoping he's playing four-dimensional chess. I gave a theory yesterday, which I'm actually feeling better about, because I'm thinking the Russians are actually closer to the truth. I think that a bunch of the missiles didn't hit the base. I don't think they missed their targets, though. I'm willing to bet that probably about, 30, 35, maybe even, let's see here, what's the number? 36? Did hit their targets, they just weren't aimed at the base. I'd like to think that possibly what Trump was thinking is he's got to put on a show of force. So what did he do? He called the Russians up ahead of time and said, by the way, in about an hour, we're going to blow up this base, giving the Russians plenty of time to evacuate people. I'm not sure why 6 people got killed, but I'm not there, and I'm not sure what the official reports are. For a while there, actually, was listed as none dead. So, but confirming that was impossible. So I think this is going to be a continuing evolving story. But I'm beginning to wonder here if this was a falser flag. The first sarin attack that triggered this, there's a lot of questions. A lot of the people who were there are known terrorists. That doctor, for example. I'm beginning to wonder if the sarin attack was staged, or, as the Russians suggest, there was a sarin outpost there, or storage depot, and it got blown up. And the left decided to take advantage of the whole situation and try to push Trump. And Trump said, you know what, maybe I can turn this to my advantage and work something out with Russia. They blow up the base, and if this doesn't escalate, if we don't see him continuing to pound Syria, I'm hoping that sometime in the next week it's going to come out that, oh no, the rebels were the ones with the sarin gas, and we blow up a Syrian base. We are horrible people. We clearly need to make this up to him. Let's join forces with him and the Russians, and let's stomp ISIS into the ground once and for all, because clearly they're the ones who are committing the war crimes. And everybody who stood up and said, yes, good job blowing up Syria because they made sarin gas, won't be able to say, now, let's not be hasty, because they all praised his attack. I'm not sure if this is the actual case, but given that there are reports that many of the missiles missed, this is looking more and more like it's a really big fireworks show, and a lot of people are being set up for a big switcheroo. So That's my thoughts. I'm feeling better about it, but, still people died, and I hope I'm right, but I could be wrong. What do you guys think?
So a bit of shock and awe, basically.
He also timed it to win the. I don't think it was it the actual. What was it? Chinese president was over here.
Yeah.
I think that was down in Florida. I think it was actually meeting the Chinese president and going. Oh, by the way, we're blowing up Syria because I felt like it.
Yeah.
I saw a very interesting political cartoon on Reddit. It was Putin taking a call from Trump, and he's sitting next to Bashar al-Assad, and he's like, "Trump's gonna bomb you. Is there any time convenient for you?"
Yeah, I'm. It's beginning to look more and more like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping is the case in all of this. I mean, if anybody's got any, I mean, if it isn't, okay, if it isn't, and he just got suckered in by CNN, let's consider that possibility. My answer is, what the hell? What do you guys think? You think that is even a possibility, or what's going on there?
Your described situation is probably the most ideal situation, of course. Not bombing them in the first place would have been the best situation because nobody would have died. However, I still think that it's more likely that Trump made a huge mistake by listening to CNN.
Yeah, I mean, if he actually did this because he was. The first time I heard this on the news, I said to myself, wow, CNN is saying Assad did it, so clearly he's innocent. I mean, that was my reflex response. I was at work at the time, and I said it out loud, and my coworker just burst out laughing, and she actually agreed with me, so I like my other job better than this one. But, God, I hope not. I really, really hope not. But I'm beginning to get more faith if the Russians are right. Of course, they could be wrong, but it would be part of the narrative if this was a whole falser flagception, if you will,
It
where
quite possibly could be, because do they still, I mean, are they 100% sure that it was Assad in the first place?
that's the part that kills me. Within 48 hours, the
Yeah.
CIA was positive it was Assad. The UK was positive it was. Everybody was positive, and the group on the ground that was giving all this information are what is it? The White Helmets. That
Yeah.
organization basically works for the rebels. So.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the sources to use, and some of the footage coming out of there is a little questionable. We're like, if you guys are the professional, you guys are clearly not the professional cleanup crew because you're handling sarin victims with your bare hands. Okay?
I mean,
And now if that guy twitched and fell over, I'd be like, okay, all right, he's just stupid.
Someone else mentioned that they've got some very expensive cameras, like doing the footage. They just happen to be at the right place at the right time.
Two other things, however, that go for it and against it, that it's a false flag, is one is the Russians afterwards continued to follow up with a drone to watch the area. I'm not sure how the Pentagon learned this. And then just before a Russian plane came in to attack the area, they turned off their drone cameras. And supposedly they were targeting the very hospital that the victims were brought to in order to cover up things. But I can't get any confirmation on that little story. So I'm taking that one with a grain of salt. I'm not sure if that's a real story or if that's some sort of fake news being put out by whoever wants to get Assad out of power.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no way, like, when you have such sketchy sources, if this was like a non-political issue, there'd be no way for them to automatically certain it was one side that did the gas attack.
Yeah, we'd be waiting for months before we had any definitive answer. So for me, I'm not going to be burning my MAGA hat, but I'm not going to be going, yay, Trump. Because when I've been watching the other videos, there have been people having debates. I don't know if you know, what's his name? He's on, it's not Alex Jones. It's the other guy on that InfoWars
Paul Joseph
station.
Watson.
Yeah, that's the guy. He had his debate with this other guy with white hair. I've seen him before, but I can't remember his name. And when I'm sitting there listening to the debate, the guy's going on and on about how this is such a great move for Trump. And as I'm listening to the debate, I'm going, I don't care if it's a great move for Trump. I care if is this the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, if that's the narrative being pushed, it's a really bad narrative. But otherwise, there's a lot of sketchy stuff out there where it's looking like, I mean, we know that the rebels did a sarin attack in the past. And as you said, there's a lot of good cameras out there. Oh, that was it. There was a tweet, although it was in Arabic, so I only know what the translation said. I can't read it myself. Where a reporter said, "Yeah, I'm going to be covering chemical attacks and airplane bombing tomorrow." And he did this the day before the attack. So, how do you know there's going to be a chemical attack? Then again, is that also something being set up as a counter narrative? It's a tweet. Come on, that's not a lot of proof there.
It depends on who translated it. It could just be some guy like, I can't wait to go to the park with my kids, and someone
Yeah,
just takes
quite
advantage of not knowing Arabic.
Yeah, quite possibly.
My opinion on the whole thing is at this point we need to wait. We need to wait and see how this unfolds. This may be good, this may be bad. This might be just what Trump was looking for to team up with Russia and say, let's just flatten ISIS once and for all, and then we're going to hand you the keys and we're out of here. I'm hoping that's the case.
That's the ideal situation.
It'd be ideal at this point. The real ideal situation would have been never to do it again, but then again,
Yeah.
I will give that debate with Paul Watson, the guy with the white hair, props. Yeah, Trump did have to do something. He did have to put something down, and I think that if Trump came out and said, we're going to waggle a finger at you in a disapproving fashion and do more sanctions, that wasn't going to look good.
Syria doesn't have an economy to sanction to begin with after the Civil War.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping that this sorts itself out.
But at least Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, did say that they want an investigation on who did the attack before making any bold statements.
Well, we can hope on that. I mean, my hope is that if it happens in the next week, where they come out and say, "Oh my God, the rebels were the one with the gas," then this was a setup. Okay, because it's going to take more than 2 weeks to figure out who did this.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
There's so many different countries and so many different sides with different alliances and others against each other. It's a huge tangled web over there. So it could be a few different people involved with the actual attack.
Well, I at this point, I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic and wait and see. I don't think we're at World War III yet. So, speaking of, let's get back to the start of the week. I just wanted to address that one first. It's been almost completely forgotten. Does people remember the terrorist attack in Russia?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
I haven't been able to get much on it. Basically, Russia clammed up on that. I don't know. Has anybody heard a lot about it? It kind of just disappeared. It was mentioned for a day or two. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, strangely enough, I've not heard much about it at all.
They probably just don't want stuff about it out.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go down with the Russian attack has been all but forgotten by the media. And speaking of terrorist attacks, on Friday we had the truck driving over people in Stockholm. And they mentioned it.
Another vehicular incident.
Yeah, another truck killed a bunch of people. Not the driver, it was the truck.
Yeah.
Stop truck phobia.
Truck lives matter.
Hashtag not all trucks.
Not all trucks. Not all trucks.
36 questions trucks have for cars.
Oh God. Oh, we need to make that video. We need to make that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. We have to do that one.
Yeah, that's tickled me.
Ah, God. Yeah, I mean, Stephen Molly, I tried to keep track of a bunch of other people, and Stephen Molyneux came up with a good point. I like to quote sources when I remember them. He said, "You can see the dead children in Syria. Did you see any of the dead bodies in Stockholm? Because I believe there was a couple of children got wounded at the very least." And
Oh, they
that's
wouldn't
his
dare.
point.
Yeah, they wouldn't dare show them. I mean,
They'll show the dying children that they want you to care about.
Yeah. You couldn't get away from it on Facebook for about 2 days. With all the posts of, look at these people dying. Look at them. Look at them. And then as soon as it happens in Sweden, no, don't look at these. Please don't share these pictures on Facebook or social media. It will
I
make
heard
people
that,
angry.
you remember that Ohio State attack where the guy drove the car or whatever into those people on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
I heard, like, I don't know if this is true, but if they put him on, like, a police brutality victims list or something. I can't validate that for sure, but this is what I heard.
Oh, hey, we got I'm Better Than You Is. How's it going? Still can't figure out how to get Discord to work? He's a guy I know down in, he's a firefighter, I believe, down in Australia. I'm having a problem with locations today.
Right.
Glad to see you're back. I hope things worked out on your trip there. I don't want to go into the details on the live stream, but feel free to chime in. I'll read your comments as I see them go up. At any rate, I think the overall pattern that I wanted to bring up is that as soon as Trump launched those missiles, you knew everybody who hated Trump suddenly comes around and goes, now he's finally a president. And Hillary Clinton's on his side, which disturbs the heck out of me. Like, that should make you nervous.
That's the worst thing ever. I mean, after, 16 years of saying no to war, and suddenly, yes, we want him to take us to war. What the fuck?
According to CNN, a carrier strike group is heading towards the Korean Peninsula.
Well, I do know that Russia was sending over a carrier of their own to the same region after the missile strike, but we got to wait and see, in my opinion. But the part that bothers me is how quickly all these other attacks are forgotten, and the only one that matters is in this country where, to be honest, we have no business being.
And are these military movements, have they been planned for a while, or are we just taking them out of context because they could actually just be military exercises that have been planned for months?
Hold on one second. Anyway, moving on, I just wanted to send the link to I'm Better Than You Is. See if you can jump on. Any rate, I think it's obvious at this point that whoever's making all the decisions in the media field, they want this bad. I'm not entirely sure why.
Because war sells stories.
I mean, that may just what it's come down to. Just what sells the most stories. So, at any rate,
they've done everything they can about Trump's habits of having tomato ketchup on a steak and having it well done. So now they've got to maybe concentrate on something a bit more meaty.
Peace isn't profitable. They have to do something, and I guess war is their choice.
Yeah.
Yes, war is sadly very profitable.
Well, for everybody except for the people dying, that is. But well.
Yeah, but who really cares about the people? Let's be honest.
The people that die are poor anyway, so they don't care.
Yeah, no one cares about poor people.
Well, actually, speaking about it, we all heard about the Slingshot channel.
Yep.
I saw the thumbnail, but I didn't watch anything.
I've
about
actually
it. I
not
didn't know
heard
what
this.
happened.
Oh, and just a brief summary. There's this guy, he runs the Slingshot channel. He just does crazy things with slingshots. He's a pretty nice guy, but he also likes to test things. And he found an incredibly crappy brand of bulletproof vest. And he wanted to
yeah,
demonstrate.
so,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I saw that, yeah. And now his entire channel is just...
Because he's being accused of teaching what criminals, terrorists,
Even
how to
though
get
the
through
person that
bulletproof
wrote the article was
vests.
a hypocrite, showing that you could sneak certain knives on airplanes.
Oh, dude, I need to learn how to hold things and move my arms. Can I watch this YouTube video to teach me how to stab people?
And actually, part of it that I did watch briefly, the highlights, that bulletproof vest was crap. Like, he stabbed through it with a knife.
Yeah.
If it basically was made of tinfoil, or aluminum. Just sitting there and going, dude, thank you for pointing out that this will get you killed.
This goes to show that if you're buying things off Amazon, make sure that if you want to stay safe, buy something that's not the cheapest one.
Oh yeah, it's just for show at that point.
Yeah. You can make your own stab-proof vest with a few magazines.
However, I think what happened to him is more of an ongoing problem here. Also, I wanted to bring up that I feel is related is that Google themselves has been charged with basically ignoring affirmative action and paying their female employees less than their male ones. Now, does anybody who think that SJWHQ Google is actually doing anything sexist?
Absolutely not.
No.
I don't think so.
So why is this coming up at all? Clearly, somebody has it in with trying to say, hey, look, get rid of YouTube or, things will happen to you. It's a nice internet you got here. Be a shame if something happened to it.
I think there's money in getting these consultation groups or making a consultation business where you just go to other people's businesses and tell them what shitty people they are and they need to employ more black people or women or other minorities and then charge them a god awful amount of money to do it.
Well, if YouTube goes, I'll just post my stuff on mine.
I don't think YouTube's ever going to go, but I have a feeling they're going to crank up their filter to the point where it's going to start killing the plays.
Well, yeah, I don't think they'll be allowing much horror content to go through anymore, so stuff that I'm doing will be not advertiser friendly.
They're already banning atheist when it comes to usernames. I'm lucky I got this username before they did that, but holy shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that whole Amazing Atheist, because someone else tried changing the name to Atheist, and Atheist works and Amazing works, but just the Amazing Atheist just isn't available.
I don't like harmful opinions that much. He's a hypocrite, but he also did something on this. I don't remember the exact details though.
I want to say, one sec. Just want to tell I'm better than you is you. If you're in the channel, if you're in the chat, Discord server, just click on where it says, scroll up the sidebar, click on where it says general, and that should put you in the list. Just click on where it says general. And if you're having problems hearing us, at the bottom of the screen there's 3 little buttons. The far one's a gear. If you click on that, there should be an option for changing your voice settings to make sure it's going to the right speaker. I know I did that for a while. I'm going, hey, I can't hear anybody. And it was just sending it to something that didn't exist.
I'm
Anyway.
assuming his account is what called Farty von Bumstink.
That's the one. I have no idea.
I'm not gonna ask.
I just shared the stream real quick. If you look up hashtag mansplain songs on Twitter, you'll find some gold.
Oh, God,
Explain
yes.
song.
Yeah, it was trending yesterday. I sent one in chat. It was like a guy sent something about like being lonely because he was a nice guy or something.
I don't know. I know. I saw that thread and I'm like, should I look at this? Should I look at this? No. No, I was already getting depressed enough looking at Twitter. Twitter is just, every time I get on it now, about a half hour later, I'm going, where's the Prozac? I need me some Seroquel right now.
Oh, here's one. If Tracy Chapman stops whining, works hard, and marries Eddie instead of just riding his fast car, she can leave poverty. Hashtag mansplain songs.
Have to watch
Ouch.
that later.
Oh, well. I mean, again, back to my original point, I got sidetracked there. In my opinion, I think there is a systematic, cohesive attack, or maybe it's a bunch of different media platforms all just getting the same idea at the same time, but they're truly going after YouTube. I mean, it's clear at this point, television and cable hates YouTube. And you got to admit, YouTube does have a definite advantage over it. I mean, when you've got a TV and you pay for advertising, you pay for that advertising even if nobody sees it.
Yeah.
On YouTube, you know exactly who's seeing it and when. And let's be honest here, if you're worried about your ad appearing before, I don't know, beheading video or something like that, let's be honest here. As everybody here can attest, YouTube's, bots are merciless. They are merciless. I had a video, this is one I wanted to bring up. I sometimes do little 6-second clips just because I think they're cute. And Computing Forever did this thing where he was talking about Snopes, and he just says the word Snopes 3 times. Just Snopes. That's it. And the title was Snopes. That was it. It got demonetized.
I was watching Thunderfoot yesterday, and he was bringing this up that it's called targeted advertising. And it's where the consumer, because Google has a creative thing, or whatever you're looking up, that advertisement is going to show no matter what. So the advertisers should already know this. So it's going to show on whatever video that's monetized no matter what. And it just matters what the person is looking up on Google.
Part of me wonders if this is just the advertisers trying to shake down Google.
The advertisers shouldn't really care whatsoever. You got Pepsi and Coca-Cola, and this is a good point you brought up. So first, Pepsi pulls out. This would have been good for the competitor Coca-Cola to actually keep their ads on YouTube, because they'd have a marketing advantage. So maybe something is going on behind the scenes.
And I just find it like questionable. A video I made with 42 views about like manipulation of some guy in Columbine instead of a Catholic or like a Christian propaganda movie got demonetized. But a Nightcore made of a song called "She Shitted on My Dick" got 742 views, and it's still completely monetized. And it just seems kind of weird to me because it's just a garbage.
Yeah, it does seem a bit random sometimes. Like Mr. Murmur said earlier, like a moment ago with Thunderfoot. So I watched that video myself, and was talking about how that video where he completely debunked the upside down skyscraper, completely debunked it, and that was demonetized. I have no idea what was in that could have been questionable content or anything. No coarse language, no hate speech, or anything that anyone could possibly pretend was hate speech, and yet it was demonetized.
I don't
Actually,
monetize my videos, so I'm not being affected by this. But if I was, I definitely wouldn't be, because a lot of the horror channels just can't do it because horror isn't under advertiser-friendly content. It really isn't. No matter what type of horror stuff you're posting to.
actually, somebody brought up something that I think is actually a pretty good theory. They have a program or people who go through to add, what do you call it, subtitles to people's videos. And the belief is currently that the subtitles are what is setting off the bots. Because for the life of me, I can't figure out how the word Snopes got demonetized. Like, it's just the name of a company, said slightly sarcastically. So I'm thinking that they have the bot go through, sets up the subtitles, and then they keyword search that and pick and choose what they're going to go and examine, and that they go, oh, well, we like Snopes, and this does not sound favorable to Snopes, we'll get rid of it.
It can pick up the tone of the voice as well as the actual word.
Who made the
Voice.
video with Snopes?
No, I think that they use it doesn't pick up the tone, but they use it for targeting purposes, because I don't know why they didn't hit the other video from Computing Forever right next to it that I uploaded at the same time, which was probably far more annoying. But I think that they just, there's a bunch of people, they're sitting around and they go, let's look up keyword Snopes. Did they talk about Snopes friendly? I'm saying no, demonetize. And then they move on, because I still haven't heard anything back from it. I put in a dispute like 3 weeks ago.
What did it to your video?
Well, I've got all my videos monetized, but not because I'm expecting any money out of it, because I've actually been curious as to what's been going on. I've been wanting to examine what do they demonetize and what they don't. And it seems like I've done some tests too, where I upload a video, but it's not public. And then I just leave it up there a second just to see what happens and see whether or not it gets demonetized or not. Because I don't want to put up a video that, that's going to get hit. And so far, everything I've thought about putting up, it doesn't like.
You have to wonder if it's like a bot that has an algorithm or if it's like actual people that go in, because I would assume it's a bot, because like actual people would say it takes so much manpower they just couldn't do it. And then you have to wonder how efficient and well programmed the bot can actually be, like the limits of a bot currently, to be able to detect the tone and like how people say things and what they say and determine whether it's advertiser friendly.
Here's the crazy thing. And oh, sorry. Oh, do you want to talk? Do you have something to say, Mr. Gurr?
No, just go ahead.
I actually think that at this point, what I want to do is, at some point, and I wanted to talk with you guys over, we still need to get around to the whole video of the month club thing later. But
Yeah.
at some point, I was wondering, maybe we should show the advertisers who did stay on YouTube some love. And make some videos of our own, with our own style, to advertise for them. Because, to be honest, most videos that come out that are made by products for advertising suck. I mean, everybody at least heard of the Pepsi commercial, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched it.
Yep.
I just heard of the commentary about it, and that was enough for me.
Apparently
Oh, God,
apparently it's based on like that photo in Vietnam where they put flowers to the guns, not like Black Lives Matter stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the inspiration for the protest, but not like the final scene where she gave the guy the Pepsi.
Oh, yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it and it says, this is just like where that woman put that flower in that gun barrel there. It's the same concept, except as I'm looking through it, I'm going, okay, so you're getting paid how much money to do a photo shoot? All you have to do is stand there and look good, and you're going to smear your makeup, take off your wig, and go marching off because some cute guy with a cello winked at you? Ah.
It's very realistic. I don't. First of all, they'd have like so much security around her that like she wouldn't even be able to get out.
And let's face facts, no social justice warriors look that good. that crowd was a bunch of beautiful people.
They probably would kick her out because they don't want anybody beautiful ruining their, making them look bad in comparison.
She's a rich, white, cisgender woman. There's no way they would want her.
Oh yeah, that's what was so funny. Is oddly enough, like the people who are kind of right wing anti-social justice, they're looking at that and going, kind of stupid. God, it's kind of stupid. God, this is annoying. But there wasn't like a huge outcry. People were just kind of pointing at it and laugh. But the lefties, my God, they flipped out. They were so horribly offended. Like they exploded apparently on Twitter.
Well, of course, because how dare someone be nice to a fucking cop?
I mean, I don't think if some random woman walked up and gave a guy a Pepsi, like a police officer, he'd probably, like, if it was riot police, he'd, like, watch a video of some guy recording riot police. He's, like, a huge bag smashed into him, so I doubt they can even, like, reach anything, or, like, by the local department.
Actually, I talked to one. Oh, I'm sorry. I talked to one of the guys over at CPEP. They're cops. And I had a chance to chat with him, and I said, what did you think about the commercial? Did you see it? And the guy said, no, I hadn't seen it. So I described it to him. And he was going, wait a minute. Somebody walked up to a cop and handed him a Pepsi? Yeah. Well, then he's fired. And I said, what do you mean? You never take a beverage when during a riot situation. It might be poison for all you know. Yeah, you have to open it up, but it still might kill you. What's wrong with you, dude? And that is another part of it. Like, no cop on the planet would take that Pepsi.
You also look way too happy to be in front of all the and rioters.
Oh, yeah, that was the weird end, too. He got this weird, happy look like, hey, everybody's laughing and jumping around and cheering because I opened a can of soda and took a sip.
Yay.
I don't trust Black Lives Matter enough to accept a soda from any of them.
Oh God. Although I might be getting to see some of them, or at least some Antifa in about a month. Hopefully, I wish my friend had been able to come on, but she couldn't make it. I got a friend who does a lot of organizing, and we're going to be having a Trump rally here sometime next month. So, thing is, though, Central New York doesn't like a lot of BS, so I don't think there's actually going to be any rumbles or anything. But it'd be fun. It'd be fun. I'd like to be able to get inside my own riot where the Antifa attack us for once. I see all these other people getting attacked, and I never get attacked.
There was a kid at my school that was wearing an Antifa t-shirt.
Kill him.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I don't think the kid probably understands what it means.
Eldritch God, I'm just gonna be talking in chat on the thing from now on.
Okay, that works. Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Just if there's anybody there, keep them active. I'd like it. But the whole advertiser thing, we should help them. If they want to stay here and advertise on YouTube, then maybe we should help them out a little bit. Show them some love, make a couple of videos for them and say, look, this is how you get people interested. You stop with this nonsense and try to make something that engages people. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a Mountain Dew video where some guy drinks a Mountain Dew and then just like rampages through a bunch of aliens, That would be interesting.
Shoots a deer.
What
It's like
advertisers are still on YouTube? Because I definitely don't have a lot of money to just go out and buy a shit ton of their products.
Yeah, I asked YouTube to send me a list of people who are currently advertising or a link or something, and I haven't heard back from them. I think they're kind of scared to tell me, but the fact of the matter is if you told me it was going, I'd be like, hey, by the way, did I mention we've got a sponsor now? Yeah, it's a peanut butter cocoa spheres. They're spheres.
No,
It is the cereal that children can eat. That's our product.
That's good.
Ah,
Eat it or just children?
eat. Define eat.
Consume.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you can consume it. Yes, you definitely can consume this cereal of spheres.
Friendly.
Excellent. Hello,
Uh,
Spoil.
Well, another thing that kind of slipped through because of this whole Syrian thing is I know a lot of you aren't in America, so this means more to Americans than you guys, but they used the nuclear option. I wish I had an echo effect. They basically had a rule a long time ago where 51 votes is all you needed in the Senate was to confirm a justice on the Supreme Court, and they changed it. So basically, it went to 61. I don't know why, but this was like 15 years ago. And, because the Republicans had a majority, they said, you know what? Let's get rid of the stupid rule because all you Democrats are going to do is hold things up. And their response was, you guys held things up for like over a year. And they said, yeah, but we got away with it. And did away with the rule, and we finally got a new justice confirmed. I don't think anybody noticed.
Yeah, they slipped that in.
I'm optimistic about the guy. I don't think he was quite as conservative as Scalia, but he seems to be basically a less law is good kind of guy. So let's find out how it goes. But I find it interesting that they call it the nuclear option as if it's going to scare anybody. I mean, it just sounds like, and it's kind of a bad thing to mention when we've like bombed Syria, one of Russia's allies. Any comments or questions on it? I don't think you guys care much because I don't. Yeah, but just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, I don't really know enough about it to have a worthwhile comment about it. Sorry.
Well. I mean, see, that's kind of what's making me puzzled about like what the media is doing, and like that is big, that is huge, and I think they mentioned it for like all of a couple of hours before it just disappeared. So, I'm not sure if they've got their heads on right, but again, my prediction is we're going to see some major bankruptcies before the end of the year. At any rate, if nobody else has any comments, I'd like to move on to my other favorite pet project, Venezuela. The opposition leader to the who wants to run for the presidential candidate over there, Henrique, I can't pronounce his last name, has been banned from running for office. So Venezuela recently backed down from basically turning into a dictatorship. But I think that was just a pause because I think the president over there realized he had gone too far and that everybody in the international community was going to come down on him if he kept it up. And now he's just saying, okay, but nobody who opposes me can run for office. So there you go. Problem solved.
That's one way of sorting it. Right back a moment.
No problem.
I had my headphones off.
Oh, I'm sorry. In Venezuela, which is basically communist, the leader of their government has said the opposition leader who wants to run against him is not allowed to run for office for, I believe, 15 years because reasons.
Does Venezuela even have human rights?
I have no idea. To be honest, at this point, I think only in name. Although, on the upside, a lot of the opposition leaders are saying that this is a good sign that we're winning, which I think is just propaganda at this point. The big problem I think over there is the army, the armed forces, hasn't picked a side yet. And in the end, I have a feeling it's going to come down to the military picking a side, and that's going to be that, because there really isn't any possibility of the people who live there making any sort of organized resistance. They don't have any real weapons, and they're broken. They're pretty much all broken.
You just have to hope that the military basically all goes to one side. It might be like a huge civil war.
So you're saying No Kekasuela.
I want Kekasuela. I mean, I don't know if the rest of you knew, but in Kekasuela, the economy has gotten so bad. The inflation rate, I believe, is approaching over 1,000%. That people don't use the money there, but they do use bitcoins. And because Bitcoin wanted a physical thing you could carry around with you that didn't require electronics, they made rare pepes of the frog meme that have a dollar amount attached to them. Well, like Bitcoin amount. So Kekasuela is moving over to using Pepe the Frog as currency. Yep, let it out, man.
So they fucking.
Their economy is so bad, a card of a cartoon frog is worth more than their actual currency.
So they trade rare pepes.
To pay for things, yes, because you can't actually use the money for anything. Nobody takes it.
It's like they expanded the Pokemon card game into the economy.
Just imagine you paying for your life insurance with Pepe the fucking Frog.
How many
Oh, God.
Pepes is worth $1?
Well, because each Pepe is variable. They're variable amounts, I believe. So one Pepe might be so many Bitcoins. And that's how they trade
How
it.
much is a Trump Pepe?
Oh, I have
Like
no
one
idea.
Jesus Pepe. Let me look this shit up. Hold on.
Yeah, look it up and double check it, man. It's kind of funny to me. Oh, hey, Ziflet! How's it going?
Hey, what's up, dude? How are you?
Doing okay. Glad you could drop by. Trying to catch up on the past week and see what's been going on. Just kind of rant about everything.
Nice.
My throat feels like rigid blades are going up and down.
Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and I'm gonna put this. Where do I put this? I'm not too keen with.
You can put it in general if you want.
All right. Oh, this is how much Pepe the coins are worth, or Pepe the fucking pictures.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Interesting.
So you need 10 Pepes to get 3 cents. So it's 3 Pepes to a penny.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Hey, I mean, over in Venezuela, I'm sure a third of a penny is worth, a loaf of bread.
Yeah, I'm just about to say it could get you a few slices at least.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, but that's why we have hope of bringing about Kekasuela. If it was possible to start a revolution in there for people who follow Kek, I think I would seriously consider finding a way to get down there and help them. At the very least, I would send them money.
I could start practicing Spanish again, fly out there, and start the revolution.
I think another candidate for Kyrgyzstan is, what is it, Somalia?
Well, let me look up how much of a dollar is worth 2 Pepes. All right.
Give me a sec. I'm going to adjust something.
Same. So 3 Pepes equals up to 3 U.S. cents, right?
Sounds like it.
All right. Wait, what? I'm wrong. There we go. You would need 314 pepes for $1.
I wonder what $1 to a Venezuela dollar is at this point, or if they have a dollar. I have no idea what it is. It's probably like 1,000 to 1 or something.
Do they use the pepes like debit cards, or do they use the pepes like trading cards?
I'm guessing like you just print it out and just fucking use it.
So it would be incredibly easy to make fake money.
Yeah.
I believe the actual Pepe has either a code with it, or I believe the ones have a chip, and I think the ones that are chipped actually are variable amounts, like one Pepe, one rare Pepe, but an actual card might have more than one rare Pepe on it. So you might have a rare Pepe card that's 100 rare Pepe, or 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever.
Isn't
What if it's not a rare Pepe?
Apparently, shillings are worth more than Pepe, whatever.
Well, it's just what happens when you destroy your economy, you know? Whenever you have a monopoly...
Pirates.
I'm sorry, what?
Looked up. Apparently, the actual Somali currency is worth less than Pepe cash because their entire economy is pirates and warlords.
Oh yeah, I mean Somalia. I have more hope for Venezuela than Somalia because Somalia is just I don't know. It's just a no man's land. I don't know how anything gets done there. At least in
Somalia is
Venezuela,
completely devolved.
yeah, it's land of barbarians at this point.
Yeah, I mean, according to the Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, humans did evolve from pirates, so there might be some evolution going on there.
Well, we can hope. I mean, after all, I mean, in the end, the big problem is always monopolies kill. When you have a monopoly, you set up an echo chamber. When you have an echo chamber, bad ideas amplify. And if you don't have competition, if you don't have outside sources forcing you to get rid of your bad ideas, you eventually, if you're the only one in power and nobody else can oppose you, you've got the ultimate monopoly. And I mean, they were arresting bakers, for Christ's sake. We're having a food shortage, so arrest the people who make bread.
Arrest the people who makes my cookies.
They were making too many croissants. I'm not lying. Yeah, that's where they were arrested. Because they can sell croissants. They can sell croissants at whatever the going price is, but bread has to be sold at a certain price. Basically, it's like...
That's fucking stupid.
Well, that's what happens when you have a monopoly of power. You get the people in charge come down and say, "We have given you 100 units of flour. It takes 2 units to make a loaf of bread. We want you to make 100 loaves of bread." And you go, "Wait a minute, you've only given me enough for 50 loaves here. Not according to our little list here." And
Oh, dang.
it's a catch-22. And then when they don't do it, or they use filler, they go, "Oh, you used filler," or "You didn't reach your quota," and you're arrested.
Oh man, that's like holy shit, dude.
It is
Honestly,
literally
it's scary.
that is catch-22. The very definition of no matter what choice you make, you're screwed. And the big problem I think with Venezuela is they don't stop people from leaving like other socialist countries. So if you can get out, you can get out. And so unfortunately what you've got is anybody who's got a brain cell, anybody who could probably fix the place is gone. And, you know, if you've got a selective pressure to leave only the people who aren't smart enough to leave, your population's going to get pretty dumb. And I don't think it's because on average Venezuelans are stupider than everybody else. It's just like the people who were keeping your average up, you know, if they got a degree and they can find a job anywhere else, they left your country. I mean, I don't even know how they'd fix the place at this point, but, you know, Argentina I'm thinking that's the only way out at this point. I really do. The problem is, as I said before, the military is incredibly strong. And if the military says no, I don't see any way that a civil war is going to take place. They just don't have the organization. They don't have the funds. They don't have the weapons. The one group that gets well fed is the military. That's always the case in any sort of totalitarian communist regime.
So, if the only way of ever like not getting screwed is the military, would that mean like everyone wants to be in the military, causing everyone to be in the military, and also digging themselves a bigger hole?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, on the other hand, that is the other place. If you're smart enough and you can suck up to the right people, you get a job working for, the police or the armed forces or whatever, and then you get fed. Of course, you're expected to keep everybody else in line, but you become part of the problem, not the solution.
All right. This is so complicated, man.
Yeah. Oh, I mean that is the case down there. I mean it's, but I like bringing it up. I mean, even if we've only got like 6 people watching, or the point is to try and keep it alive, to try and keep people noticing, because you never hear about Venezuela from anywhere.
Exactly.
And frankly, I find what's going on in Venezuela far more interesting than what's happening in Syria. But I'm not the owner of the newspaper.
It's tragic, it's depressing, but damn, it is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like the news like source and everything is trying to be like say professional, but in reality they're making fools of themselves while trying to be professional. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I know
really.
exactly what you're saying. Well, what he's saying is basically we've got the news media that is trying to maintain the image. The old saying is an ounce of image is worth a pound of performance. So if you look flashy and you've got an excellent smile and you've had all your teeth ripped out and replaced and capped, you look great. And so people will trust you so far. But they're all image. There's no actual follow up on everything. Like they do no pre-research. They do nothing to verify their sources. And that's the inherent problem there.
Why would they when people consider them a source?
Yeah, that was half the problem when I was trying to research what happened in Syria. I'd find a great source that had some great quotes, then I go, okay, where'd you get your information from? Another news outlet. Okay, where'd you get your information from? Another news outlet. Where'd you get your information from? Nothing. And I'm like, okay, the only source that I have that anybody got killed at all is a bunch of news sources. At least one, eventually I found one that claimed I got this from the Pentagon, and another one that claimed that they got it from Russia. But to be honest, these days, I'm not sure. If I see it on CNN, if CNN came out and said, the sky is blue today, I would go to my window and look. And if it was blue, I would take off my glasses and clean them. How do you trust these guys? I mean, it's and that's probably the problem is that sometimes probably should. Sometimes they might be right. But I just, at this point, I can't. I can't look at MNSPC and not chuckle. Oh, and don't even speak about HLN. Those guys were a joke before this all happened.
BuzzFeed are right at the bottom, and everyone consistently distrusts them.
I don't think anyone takes BuzzFeed seriously.
Unfortunately, the newspapers do, because you just reminded me. I was looking over some articles from MSNBC or whatever it is, and one of their quotes of their sources for when they were talking about the Syrian airstrikes was BuzzFeed. And I gotta look that one back up. And when I saw it, I was like, Associated Press is referring to BuzzFeed as a source? What the hell?
It's time to burn them down. Just I'm done. I can't take it anymore. BuzzFeed does nothing but cause conflict between people because of race, because of gender, and when they're not doing that, they're spewing bullshit and fake news.
Yeah, because they get a lot of Facebook ad revenue.
Yeah, I mean, everything they do is about trying to save their own ass, which isn't working. The figures don't lie. The work is not working. They are not bringing in the numbers. They're dropping. Hold on one sec. Got to check something.
Okay.
Guppy just left.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Guppy just left. Guppy, glad you could stop by for as long as you could. We understand we're really late here, and hope things work good for you. Glad you could stop by for the comments you had. That's part of the whole point of this is just to have people cycle through and get some practice, get some work under their belt, knowing how this works, being comfortable talking in front of people.
Yep, take care, buddy.
Take care, Gup. Talk to you later. Let me just fix this.
Oh, sorry.
All right, there we go. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about on this topic?
I have a different topic that I can bring up after we're done with this one.
Okay, when we go to that, I've got a bunch. I've got so much happened this week. This week has just been crazy. Although, let's go with you first.
Okay. I found this article. It's on nextshark.com. I've never heard of it, but they reference the Philippine Statistics Authority. Apparently, there have been 151 cases of childbirth from 9-year-old moms from 2011 to 2014.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Wow, isn't Philippines a Muslim country?
I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure.
I know Indonesia is the big island.
Oh, yeah, Indonesia's the one. The Philippines, it's kind of hit or miss, I believe. It's kind of mixed over there. Oh, my God. Oh, that's just sad. There's just no other way to say it. It's just sad.
Dominant religion in the Philippines is, let's see, Christianity, apparently.
Yeah, because I mean, we
yeah.
we had the Philippines as a territory for a while. The U.S. did at least, so they might have put missionaries or whatever.
Yeah, the tiny Muslim minority.
In 2011, 31 babies were born to 11-year-olds, 43 to 12-year-olds, 152 to 13-year-olds, and then 1,140 to 14-year-olds.
Yes, indeed. Damn. That's just depressing.
Yep, I've got nothing good to say about that.
Yeah, I don't think there is anything good to say about it, unfortunately. Well, it's a sign of the times, I guess, in some degree, that part of me, I don't know what happened. I mean, there was around 2000, I was very optimistic about the future. It seemed like in general, people were just getting their act together. And I don't know, the past 15 years is it just something that happens when you get old? You get old and you start losing your teeth and waving canes at kids while you sit in your porch going, you kids today. I'm serious. It's either that or the world is getting crappy. I'm not sure which, but everything has just seemed to be spiraling down, and it seems like not a lot of people care. That, I guess, is the big problem.
It all depends on how you look at it. I mean, a lot of things have gotten a lot better too.
Oh, I mean, admittedly, I'm feeling optimistic in general that I think we've kind of hit bottom. That we've reached a point where you can't really dig any deeper without people noticing. And people can try to ignore things. People can try to stick their head in the sand. But it really seems like we've managed to reach that certain point where you can't cover up the crap anymore. And the internet never forgets. So we actually managed to start turning things around and actually, like, everybody starts acting sane again. I think it'll stick this time. I don't think we're going to get that pendulum effect anymore because, the next time somebody comes around and says, we tried communism in the past. How did that turn? Let's see how. Okay, maybe let's not do that. But what, the thing, somebody came up with this great point that made me laugh. He says, you want to make a feminist squirm when they say they've got a women's studies degree? Ask them how much they know about woman biology. Apparently, in all the colleges, you don't actually have to take a course understanding how female anatomy or the hormones or circulatory system or any of that stuff actually works. You don't need to take if you're studying women, you don't actually study women.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's what we've been doing. That's our colleges these days, where we chunk out people where, basic facts of how what are the parts of the reproductive system? How about that? Where they go, oh, it's a vagina. Yes, the other parts. How do they work? How long do they work? What's the purpose?
Oh no! All we studied about is what's keeping the women's down.
Women and men are interchangeable. We're exactly the same.
Okay, then.
They better hope that they don't ever actually figure out how to truly make an artificial womb, because, oh God, the minute that we could.
If men and women are interchangeable, then that proves once again that the wage gap isn't real.
Oh yeah, the wage gap thing. That thing's a joke. I mean, how many times has it been disproven? Which brings us back around to Google with their getting screwed. I mean, maybe it's true, but to be honest, I can't sit there and say those guys would willingly, knowingly, ever shortchange a woman. I'm willing to bet if you actually did a study, you'll find out the women there are being paid more than men for the equivalent jobs.
Who said they did that?
Let's see. Hold on a second here. It was found by a investigative reporter. That's all I got here. Investigative reporter. And it came the day after Google announced that it was launching a new resource to help users spot false news and misleading information on Facebook. The resource is basically a notification that pops up for a few days telling you, hey, this is fake, and then gives you tips on how to avoid other information and how to spot false news.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that 99% of what I share on Facebook would probably be classed as fake by them.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I ever get on PolitiFact or Snopes radar, my channel will be set on fire.
I'm gonna go ahead and not even have a good segue. I just heard about this 11-year-old guy or boy in Michigan. Like, he has a 13-year-old girlfriend that faked her death or something, and so he killed himself. Like, he hung himself or something, and he was in a hospital.
Did he survive his suicide attempt?
Died.
Ouch. So some girl, in order to stir up drama, fakes her death, and somebody else kills themselves because her faking her death depressed him.
Yeah.
Did anything happen to the girl?
They said charges include malicious use of telecommunication services and using a computer to commit a crime, but I mean, she's 13, so I doubt anything will happen.
Oh no, she's gonna get the pussy pass. She's gonna get an old fashioned, slap on the wrist. Maybe they'll give her probation and yeah. And that we got to keep an eye on her, because she is going to be the next Anita Sarkeesian. I guarantee it.
And then somebody will dig up this article. Oh, they won't even be able to find it because they can't put out the names of minors.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that if this article actually came up because it's anti-feminism, it would be labeled fake news and deleted.
Yeah. Again, a quick little quiz on this website. Investigators found that this banned substance was used in a chemical attack in Syria. Mustard gas, polychloroprene, no idea, or sarin. Oh, it's probably mustard gas.
No, actually it was sarin.
War One. Yeah. I'm being ironic. Like nobody uses mustard gas.
No,
Nowhere
not since
north.
the
Oh, I think
Second
this
World
is
War. Is it?
World War
Oh
II.
yeah,
They
it's kind of hard to
banned
make
it after
actually.
the First World War.
I remember the good old days. I remember when I was in college when I had a friend who had a. I don't know if you guys remember this. There used to be a SIG that you have a signature at the end of all of your emails, and he used to have his signature be the chemical formula for this. I forget what it was called, but basically it's this solution that if you pour it onto a table and let it dry, if it gets jarred at all, it kind of explodes. It doesn't explode much, but it's you know those little Mitch Gerd might remember this. You know those little bags you used to buy, little white things that you throw on the ground and they exploded.
Oh yeah,
I
the
know
little
those
cap
like
things.
poppers or whatever.
The little cap things. I don't know if they still sell those. Those sound incredibly violent and might not be sold anymore. But they used to have these little cap things. It's the same formula for that cap thing. And you get it in a liquid, pour it on a table, let it dry, and then a fly lands on it and it goes pow. It's not very big. It's not very dangerous. It just scuff up the table, but it makes a huge, loud bang noise. And every time he sent out an email, that was on the bottom.
At
He'd
the
be
end of all my
arrested.
emails, I say, sincerely, the Shadow Man. Something along the lines of that.
One of the other things I knew somebody got, he had like every keyword that would set off like the FBI thinking you were a terrorist. It was just this huge paragraph of all these bizarre like terrorist terms. Just like, and I said, "Why are you doing that?" He says, "I just want the FBI to read my emails."
Could you get me that list?
I can. Oh God. Well, if Tina was, I don't want to use her name. Yeah, if I can find her, yeah, I'll see, or maybe I
All
can
right.
Google it. It might be on there, but I remember seeing that. I'm like, wow, wow. And he would do it like he would say, "Hey, what's up?" And that would be the whole email. And then there would be this paragraph, this wall of text, and you just. But that was what he enjoyed doing. Any other topics anybody wants to bring up before I move on?
I got something that's pretty interesting you guys might like.
All right, bring it on.
So I work at a PEO, which is it basically like we help out. We're the HR department for like a few hundred different companies in my city. So all their employees, they come into our office to fill out their like new hire paperwork, their benefits stuff. And so we have a form, right? And maybe some of you guys have seen it. It's called the EEOC form, and it
Oh
probably
dear God.
changes from country to country, like or whatever. But basically, what the form is you have to put what race you are and how many dependents you have, and you can decline. You can say like, oh, I don't want you guys to know what race I am, right? And that's fine, right? Like, whatever. But here's the weird thing is when we report the information, because there's like I'm not in the HR department, so I don't know exactly how it works, but they have to make a report, and they can't pick declined to state anymore. They used to be able to, but now for informational purposes, they have to select something. So if the person chose to decline to state, they have to use their best judgment to just fucking profile them, basically. Isn't that so fucked up?
That's
Can
insane.
And this is
can
going on like an official government report, but usually what they do is if they decline to state, they pick two or more races just so because that's not picking anything specific. They're just like, all right, this is the only thing I can pick that's not actually profiling them as white, black, or whatever, two or more races. So everybody's pretty much like two or more races if they decline.
do
Oh,
you enter this?
yeah, if I was in the
Nope.
department, I just put other Kekistani.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Can you put in Kekistani?
Probably not.
Oh, that would be so awesome. It would start showing up and they'd have to track it. I
There's
identify
like
as
five
Kekistani.
choices. It's like white, Hispanic, all those things, and then two or more races. And
On
you could pick decline.
Canadian surveys and stuff, they have an option for you to write in your own race, and every time I write in the most ridiculous thing I can come up with, and the same thing with religion. I either write in Pastafarian or just Keck.
For a class I had to take, like mandatory class, they had a form we had to fill out online. You could write in your own gender and race. I said my gender was attack helicopter because I was still a meme then, and I put my race as Black Hawk. So if I put Apache, they would think I was Native American.
I'm going to start putting in trans black because, yeah, I mean, if race is a social construct, then, even though I probably will burn under a strong light bulb, yeah, trans black, that's me.
That's because the light bulb is evil.
Well, all light bulbs are white, and they're oppressing us.
Yeah, they're oppressing you, burning you.
What about the colored light bulbs, like the ones in
Light bulbs of color.
spotlights?
Light bulbs of color, say it right.
Light bulbs of color. Light bulbs of
I'm
color.
sorry. I'm sorry, light bulbs of color.
Shame. Shame. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to hear some, what I haven't said this to the new people. I work for New York State, and last year I got to go through a training where we were told what words we can speak, and one of the words that we are not allowed to say anymore starts with an O and ends with a T. It's got 3 letters. Can you guess?
Oh, you said this before.
Oh,
Out. Yeah, oh God, I mean, the fact that they even censor us is the one thing, but just to censor out. I'm hoping, the problem is I can hope as much as I want. Something's got to break on all these bureaucracies. Something's got to break. You can't have this level of insanity. Like, as you said, well, we can't put decline down anymore. We have to declare people's races.
Wait, did they ban the word out? O-U-T?
Yeah, out.
What?
Because we
I
might be...
identify as out.
Because if I say the word out, I might be triggering somebody who's homosexual from thinking that I might out them from the closet. And I shit you
You
not.
guys want to go for a walk, not inside?
Yes, we have to say it that way. We can't go on the word outing anymore. And I have clients where we go on outings, but we can't use the word outing anymore. Shall we go out? Shall we leave the building? And
go to a field trip.
Exit the facility.
yes, like it's crazy what we have to say. I mean, to be honest, as soon as no supervisor's around, we all go back to normal. But the fact that it exists, a lot of people go, nobody cares about it. Yes, they do. They just don't enforce it until they want to get rid of you. As soon as they want to get rid of you, trust me, everything you've done wrong will be used against you later. And my coworkers think I'm paranoid, but I always follow every rule, no matter how crazy it is, and it has saved my ass. Because I've spent way too much time saying the right thing, and that's how I work the night shift now, because it's the best way to get rid of me. I am banished.
Are you allowed to say the word walk?
Yes, we could say the word walk, yes. But only if we refer to the... No, they're not disabled people. They're clients. We're allowed to use the word clients, although I have a feeling they're going to ban the word client because we use it to refer to the clients, and people are starting to associate the word client with disabled people, so they'll come up with something new this year. They haven't rolled out the banned words for 2017 yet.
So soon it'll be a flippity floppity flu.
Oh yeah,
Because all the other words have been used up.
It's because of the belief that you can change people's ideas by changing the words, and that isn't the case. If you ban a word, all you do is people come up with a new word for the idea, and you can't stay ahead of that curve because people got to communicate.
Do they stay in the building or do they just visit?
No, these are homes. At that job is homes. I also work where I'm in a...
Residents?
That word was 2014 and banned.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I remember. We used to call them residents. We used to call them consumers. We can't use consumer anymore. We can't use resident anymore. God, what else? The problem is I can't remember. Like every year there's a new name we have to call them, and there's so many been banned. So I'm gonna guess they're gonna come down to flippity floppity flu soon, or just call them
Are
floops.
are they based on like complaints happening, or are they trying to like stay ahead of the complaints?
My belief system is that the governor hates group homes. He hates the disabled, and he wants to get rid of us. And he wants to privatize it, but nobody's going to buy any of those group homes because it's so dangerous. These jobs, I got taken out for 4.5 months because I turned my back and somebody came in and they just bit me and bounced me off a refrigerator a couple of times. And oddly enough, I was the one charged with assault. Yes, I got bit. I'm the one who assaulted him. Eventually, it got cleared up, but the point is, he's gone for zero tolerance, which is taking more and more people out of work because it's clogging up the system with these BS assaults that never happened. And the clients are catching on. Some of them are malicious, and they go, "I'm going to get you fired." And all they need it used to be we could put down, he claimed he was going to get us fired, and just make a note he's going to make false accusations, and then we still had to verify things, but we didn't immediately suspend people just because a client said something. Now, no question, you're gone, and the clients know it. So if the client doesn't like you, you're gone. The thing is, though, if you stick it out and they can't prove anything to you, they have to pay you for all that time you're sitting on your ass. So they can say, we're not going to pay you, and you can use up your time off, blah, blah, blah. But if they can't hang something on you, well, you just got a vacation, and including all your benefits and everything. And New York State is paying for this. So now they've gotten to the position where we will suspend you, and we're going to keep you suspended for so long that you can't afford not to come back to work. And when we offer you to come back to work, you need to sign something that says, hey, you're just going to let it go. If you don't, we're going to keep you suspended. Oh, by the way, it's going to take about a year before you get your day in court. Guess how many people sign off on it?
Pretty much all of them.
I did. I had to. I mean, I had bills to pay. Even though I had stored up close to 3.5 months of time off, because they never give you any time off, so it just kept storing up in my bank. I survived quite well up to a certain point, but then I needed to start paying bills. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I need to start paying bills. And after that, they started banishing me to night shift. But my prediction is at some point in the next couple of years, the governor is going to sell it to some place for $1. A year later, that place is going to file bankruptcy, and everything's just going to come back to the state anyways. But he'll have fired everybody, and he'll be able to start over with a whole bunch of new people who are cheaper. The problem is people don't understand. Nobody wants to do this job. Nobody. You used to be about 40% guys, 60% females. Now I'm the only guy. No, wait, there's one other guy in the building at this site. And at the other site, I could say 3 or 4 out of 40 people, 40 staff at the big building. But fortunately, at the new site, it's not as violent. But at my old one, oh yeah, there were clients that when they freaked out, you try to put them in what we call the standing wrap. You put your arms around them, and you just give them a hug from behind. There were guys there who would just drag me around like I wasn't even holding on. And I'm about 220 pounds. Like, they didn't even notice me. I was a cape.
What do you do exactly?
I help the mentally and physically disabled do the best they can. To be honest, I love the clients. I do. Even the ones who are quadriplegics and whose asses I need to wipe, they're great people. 95% of the time, they're great people. But sometimes they have issues. Sometimes they have problems, and trust me, they can't help it. Their problem-solving abilities are low. But we don't have enough staff because we keep losing people to accusations. So I've been in charge of like a room of 14 people alone. And that's not safe. Because when one guy flips out because he's not getting enough attention, it sets off a chain reaction. And they all get nervous. They all get scared. And if it's one person handling 14, you need to nip that in the bud quickly. And when you start complaining, you start raising concerns, you start mentioning it to people, and it's easier to get rid of the person complaining than it is to fix the problem. And that's what's been happening. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. Pretty much, I think the next time, although to be honest, I probably could have gone out permanently on disability after that last one. Next time anything serious happens, I don't think I'm going to be able to physically do the job anymore safely. So, and that's sad because they really need people like me there. But we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it works out. I mean, I'm hoping that this whole social justice warrior is finally hitting a turn, because that's really what's going on. There's a social justice warrior demon sitting on the governor's shoulder, whispering things into his ear, because we are basically at this point the Albany considers the staff the enemy. If there just wasn't any staff oppressing the clients, they'd be happy. We've received memos where it's like, we're going to start a new program where you're going to take these guys out to the mall and just let them walk around on their own, free to do whatever they want. And it's like, you know that the client I'm assigned to eats scissors, right? He ate a pair of scissors once. Not a small one, a big one. Took off the plastic handles because, and I quote, he didn't like the taste of plastic, just likes the metal. He ate the scissors. And you want me to release him unsupervised at a mall? He'll be dead.
We're gonna let this schizophrenic man loose inside a National Guard armory. Hope nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
think
it's on that
sadly-
level. Oddly enough,
Sadly, yeah, you have to let it happen and let them see.
Well, here's the thing, though. After that happens, they're going to blame the staff for not being there, and then they're going to take all these incidents where we do what we're told, and we do what we're supposed to do under the memo, and when it fails, they're going to say, staff did it wrong, look how bad staff is, look at all they're screwing up everything, because I know for certain they've been putting down memorandums that require the managers of the individual houses to do impossible things. They don't give you enough money, but then they give you this menu where you've got to spend like $800 a week. I mean, we're talking tofu, steak, lobster, and you're like going, holy crap, I don't eat that well. And then what do? We put it in a blender. And so you can't afford it. Well, there's two types of house managers. There's the house managers who buys what they can afford and then writes down we fed them what we were supposed to. And then there's the manager who actually does what's on the menu and then says, sorry, I'm $500 over budget, but you gave me the menu and here's the receipts. And the problem is then they then come down and say, look at all these other houses that are doing it and you're not. But the smart house members just keep getting yelled at, and they keep doing what's written down, because I'm telling you, there's going to come a point where they're going to come down on all those people who've been faking their data, who've been saying we've been buying this stuff when they haven't, and they're going to put down, oh, look at all these evil people breaking the rules. Well, you asked them to do that, but they're not going to get their day to tell that to anybody, and they're going to use that as an excuse to close down the place. And I mean, I understand it's expensive, but on the other hand, I've worked for the private agencies, and I would not wish the private agency on any of these clients. The private agencies are really strapped. I worked for one once where 3 weeks into the month, they said we couldn't drive anywhere anymore because we were out of gas. Unless I wanted to put in some myself. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying for gas. But that's what the industry is turning into, and it's because of the governor. It was running so well. It was actually running fairly well up till 5 years ago, and the past 5 years it's just spiraling down. And it's because of social justice. They've infected the something. Somebody in charge is listening to these nutcases, and there's nobody complaining. In fact, the parents and the relatives of all these clients who are very active, they know something's going wrong and they're all up in arms too. They're really pissed. But it used to be that people cared about that, but for some reason, not anymore. Apparently their family is just oppressing them by wanting them to, have gasoline to drive to doctor's appointments. Sorry about ranting about that. It's something that annoys me. Anybody want to rant about anything besides me?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Well, one thing that oh, I'm sorry. Was somebody else?
No, I was just saying I didn't.
All right. Sorry to depress everybody there. It's just,
No, dude, you're good. That's why we're here, to listen to you.
Yeah, true.
One thing else I wanted to bring up that was earlier in the week that nobody talked about. Oh, hey, Slappy. How's it going? I missed you here. How's it going? At any rate,
That's me.
oh, that's you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
that's fine. I changed my name, so I wouldn't expect you to remember it.
well, that's cool. At any rate, I forget who this guy is. I think it's he's just whatever. He's got this black hat on. He's the guy who came up with the evidence that the Wall Street Journal used fake screenshots to start the whole.
The H3 thing.
Yeah, no, I've heard somebody say that he's actually wrong. Does anybody hear it?
It was supposed to be some guy that developed got a patent on the thing to look for extremist videos, and then he said that he started accusations so Google wouldn't be able to make a thing without violating his patent, so they have to pay him much money.
Actually, yes, I had heard that he was wrong about that. And it was the guy from H3H3. And this guy looked into the source code, right, of the video, and it was still monetized. So
Yeah, he made a retraction about it, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't the Wall Street Journal. It was somewhere, like I just said, some random guy that made an extension or some kind of plug-in or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was wrong about that.
Yeah, H3H3 was wrong. It wasn't the Wall Street Journal.
You guys noticed that, you know how after the PewDiePie thing, the Wall Street Journal was just getting tons and tons and tons of hate? I mean, I was checking out their YouTube channel and every video had almost at least 1,000 thumbs down, things that weren't even about PewDiePie. And it's really interesting that, just a little bit later, they fucking attack YouTube big time,
Yeah, I think they
imagine all the
against YouTube.
Yeah, imagine all the fangirls that PewDiePie has, and they will just demolish everything that speaks against him.
Well, I know, but then think about this, right? It's what's the real agenda? That's the question. Is it really the fact that there's this video that says this, that is all these years old? Is that really the issue? Or are you guys mad that you fucking went up against YouTube and you got your ass handed to you, and now you're well, guess what? I know my fucking friends are the ones that fucking pay YouTube and pay all your little fucking friends, so I'll be back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, at
It's
this
not
point,
even about racism. It's just they're just swinging back.
Yeah, they just want to do anything they can to hurt YouTube and anyone connected with them.
I don't think it's revenge. I don't think it's pettiness in that degree. I think it's desperation. They're screwed. They are screwed. The Wall Street Journal, all these places have destroyed their reputation. They bet everything on Hillary. Everything. They bet everything on this woman, and they did everything in their power to try and get her elected, and she lost. And now Hillary Clinton's not there to come along and hand them government money to keep them afloat because we need a free press. All these places that backed Hillary were going to be given buku money to help the media survive the internet age. And it doesn't need to survive. We don't need it. And they sacrificed their reputations. They destroyed every amount of credibility they had. And now they backed the wrong horse. And last I heard, Donald Trump was trying to, stop giving money to NPR. Thank God. Those guys are the biggest liars on the planet. And That's the point of all of this. The goal is to say, okay, well, if we can't win legitimately, we've got to destroy the competition. Nobody can watch YouTube. But it's just a desperation act. It reminds me of when I was doing mortgages back in 2007. There was this frenzy. To try and lower. I mean, it was bizarre what we were doing. We were giving away mortgages to people with 450 credit scores. I mean, that's insane. Anything under 580 shouldn't even be considered. But we were giving away to 450. I mean, this was like the flea market of mortgages at the end there. But it was because everybody was panicking. Everybody knew the bottom was starting to drop out, so everybody was trying to get everything they could at the last moment. And it was insane flailing about, but it's amazing what people will do when they see the end coming. And that's what's happening. You've got a whole bunch of people who went through college. They got their social studies degrees where they know how to micromanage microaggressions. And then they got their degree, they went in, now they're journalists, and they're only making $35,000 a year. They're $80,000 in debt to a college. By the way, if you don't pay that, we're going to come for you, and you can even go to jail if they push it far enough because it's backed by the government. And if you don't come up with something, you're basically going to be in a gutter. What would you do?
By the way, look over there. These people on YouTube are making more money than you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, Mr. Murmur's got more talent than, like, any reporter I've seen on CNN. Seriously, he's got... like, if we had him reading, like, a script from a news, like, if we were actually legit news, rather just people complaining about stuff. But that's the point, though, because you really don't need much of a budget to reach people, you know.
Yeah,
and on YouTube...
mediocre narrator studio in the basement of Canada.
And boom, you know, I'm willing to bet if you stick to it, you'll be like one of these. We'll all be looking at you and going, "Damn, I got like 140 subs, and you're gonna have like 140,000 subs." If you stick to it, though.
I'm glad that you think that, and that you really think I could go somewhere with this.
Well, I mean, I when you started doing your horror thing, I looked into a bunch of other channels, especially Nightmind, that sort of thing. I mean, you do have to at some point start to up your game in order to like be more entertaining, but you usually do that after you've gotten your solid fan base. And by the way, that's one thing that I should mention to everybody here is something I've learned the hard way. If any fan ever starts imitating you, you say thank you.
Oh yes, actually, funny thing. You know that guy's talking about that I showed you that the story fables and ghostly tales.
Yes, indeed.
He told me that he just took my format for what I do in my videos with the whole Adobe After Effects thing, having like my YouTube icon and then having the sound wave. He said he took that, but he added a little bit on, and I generally thanked him. I'm like, that's awesome that you did that. Thank you very much.
That is
a couple of minutes ago.
That's awesome.
As a case study, I don't know if you guys follow Welcome to Night Vale. Anybody?
No.
That would actually be my point now. They were the hottest podcast for a while. And then somewhere around halfway through season 3, I don't know what happened to the creator, Joseph Fink, but he got a bug up his ass. And there were a bunch of us who were making fan videos, fan podcasts in the same vein. Most of them were pretty crappy. You can look over it if anybody cares on the Blood Space Armed Forces Radio Network. I never go there anymore, but there it is. But I will tell you this: the person was doing Welcome Back Desert Bluffs. She was amazing. Her production value, her scripts, everything. She was better than the original show. And that was because the original show was starting to shit the bed. I did some stuff. I kind of liked it, but, to be honest, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and my audio quality was crap. Joseph Fink came along and gave her a cease and desist order. Shut her down. And he started going after a lot of people who were making fan-created stuff. And what people don't realize, and he didn't realize, he thought, oh, I'm losing money. No, you're not losing money. Any money that you lose from these people selling t-shirts or getting fans or getting donations or whatever that isn't going into your pocket is not lost money. What that is them getting paid for free advertising for you.
Yeah.
Anytime a fan comes along and says, I love this guy and I'm imitating him, you should check out the original, I'm a pale imitation,
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
free advertising.
I'm so happy that he took inspiration from me. Like it really means a lot, and that's telling me that my stuff is good quality, and someone could take inspiration.
That
Absolutely.
that's the hard side of being a creator is you create something good. Guess what? You created something good. Past tense. You come up with something new. Got to keep at it. You can't rest
Oh
on your
yeah,
laurels.
I spent because I can barely speak. I spent the entire day pretty much getting people to criticize me, just give me a whole bunch of criticism.
And that's the way to do it. Never be afraid.
So here, this is the really long criticism, and it's actually I expected more, but all right. So here's what I got for you. Your voice fits excellent for this type of narration, and the pace you take while reading the stories fits them well. There were a few punctuation issues, pronunciation issues, like in the beginning it sounds like you're saying hello there and welcome to a night show. There were some other times you sound like you were dropping L sounds from words. It didn't have any impact to my ability of understanding the story. But anything you can polish to make sure the focus is on what you're saying and not how you're saying it is a good thing. I would also consider adding an ending section or conclusion. It felt like that video just abruptly stopped after the last story. It doesn't have to be the stereotypical remember, like, and subscribe. I just really think having an ending tag or quote could benefit you here to signal that the video is ending more of a natural way. Something like that concludes tonight's show, or have a snarky tagline where you sarcastically remind everyone that there's nothing in the dark. Otherwise, good stuff. And someone else actually told me that because I just have one still image for the background, someone told me to put a video for the background. So I actually have rain falling for the background.
Oh yeah, I've thought about doing that more myself. When I actually get back around to doing more videos, I'd like to use that driving around at night video.
Hey, is there any way you can actually send that to me? Because I may use that.
Oh sure, yeah. Remind me later, but if I try to do it now, I might crash my computer.
Is it okay if I
Oh
loop
shit,
back
I
to
just ran out
the?
of disk space. Oh, that's fun.
I'm sorry, what?
I
Is it
just ran
okay?
out of I just ran out of disk space for my Adobe After Effects, and it's been rendering for around 40 minutes. Has to restart now.
Cool. Thick, you needed something?
Is it okay if I loop back to the Wall Street Journal and stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, we've degenerated. So yeah, let's go back to that for a while.
I was
And
just
I'm
thinking
not so-
that I
I'm just
would be willing to bet anything that the CEO of YouTube supported the Wall Street Journal more than she did PewDiePie.
Really, you think they would have backed it to some degree, huh?
I don't, not publicly. But I think she
See,
agreed with what they said.
I can kind of see that. Alphabet's the actual owner all the way up. When you go all the way up, it's Alphabet. Google is just part of the Alphabet family. And Alphabet, as far as I'm concerned, is Social Justice Warrior headquarters. I mean, they
I
really
think
are.
Susan, however you say her name, like is Polish or something. Because like I saw like a thing on Scarce or whatever. Like she followed some Twitter account that tweeted about white genocide. And so I think that she would support the Wall Street Journal's perspective more than PewDiePie's.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting the vibe that whoever's running YouTube is not greedy. They're all about social justice. I wish they were greedy. People think greed is bad. Greed is not bad. Greed is a motivation. In and of itself, all it is a force.
It gets
You know,
things done.
how you channel that force is where the problem is. Competition is good. It is natural and it helps. Okay? But put greed to the point where you get a monopoly, where there is no outside input, and you've only got the internal network where you start up an echo chamber, it's going to fall apart. That's the downside. Of course, the irony is the one thing that always makes me laugh about communists. It's, wow, you want to amplify the one thing that destroys capitalism to the nth degree. You want the ultimate monopoly. and then magically it's supposed to destroy itself and everybody becomes a bunch of communes. Wow, you know. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the CEO is of mixed minds. She wants to keep the, stockholders happy, but at the same time, she clearly has her own agenda. So who knows? If she loses enough money, with any luck, she'll lose her job.
I mean,
Yes.
PewDiePie makes the most consistent money. Like, like music channels, like a Rihanna video will probably make a lot of money, like a ton of money. But like consistently, daily uploads, PewDiePie makes the most money, like of any YouTuber.
And he's also the most popular. And
Yeah.
and you want to know something? I didn't like him for the longest time. I really did not like him. And then
I never disliked him. I just, I was,
Wasn't for you.
yeah, it just wasn't for me.
he wasn't funny. He wasn't funny. He was like a Garfield cartoon. But then, finally, he relaxed and he said, I'm going to be myself, no matter how bad that is. And he started making me laugh. The moment he started trusting himself is also the point where, everybody decided he was a Nazi. But that's the problem. He started to think for himself. It was clear. He changed who he was. Or rather, he'd always been that way. He was just finally he'd reached that point where, what was it? He had fuck you money. Where I've made enough money that if you tell me what to do, fuck you. I don't care. And how do you stop the guy? He's got $16 million and his production value is, well, he's in a booth looking into a camera with, a computer and that's it. Like, I don't think he even has an assistant. Although I think he may have been advertising for one.
He was looking for an editor.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, he didn't need it.
If you can get 50+ million subscribers without an editor, like that's pretty good. Because even Quebblecop, who's only got like 10, which is still a lot, he has like 5 editors or something.
But look how many millions of new subscribers he got the moment he stopped censoring himself. He went from, I think he was at 52 and change, almost 53, the start of this meth. Isn't he like pushing 55 million now? And it's only been a couple of weeks.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But that's because he's being more, and as a, and he did have that video where he's like, oh, I made a mistake and I wish to apologize. I wasn't this. And he was humble and he changed. As soon as he learned new information, he made a correction and he moved on and people forgive him. I don't think mainstream media understands that part either. If you screw up, don't double down. Say, I'm terribly sorry. I screwed up. Jump out in front of the camera. Take your lumps. Take your beating. Take your whatever. And do it stoically. And then people may not like what you did, but they will respect you. And it's far more important to be respected and trusted than anything else.
Yeah, it's much better than doubling down and saying, you misunderstood me.
Yeah, that's the Wall Street Journal's problem. They have nobody respects them, nobody trusts them. Yet they have, I don't know, where does their money come from? I mean, I know they're renting one of their floors of their building so that they can make ends meet, but
Poultry ad revenue, and they also have the paywall as well, so some people actually subscribe to them.
yeah, I don't know, but I'm hoping that if I had to pick which major media company is going to file bankruptcy, I hope it's them. Because if a Wall Street Journal is the one who files bankruptcy before the end of this year, it will send a clear message of what happens when you destroy your reputation and decide to just go on the warpath and hope you can beat everybody into, giving you money. But I don't know if they're going to be that bad off, but it all comes down to who's their backer? Their backers from, wait a minute, am I getting my companies mixed up? I know there's one company that's getting backed by that guy in Mexico, that telecommunications giant. Was that the Wall Street Journal?
No. The only person I can ever think of is the Australian guy.
Ah, right.
Fox and News Corp and Sky.
Well, I do know that like one of the major newspapers it might be the New York Times, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the only reason they're afloat is because there's a billionaire in Mexico who's funding them, and basically they're the ones who are pushing for all of this, all of their social justice warriors, because it fits his agenda. All right. The moment he does not think that New York Times or whoever he's backing is getting the work done, he's going to drop them like a bad habit. And that's when you're going to see that bankruptcy, because without that single definitive person shelling money into basically the furnace for it to burn, to power the place, it's not going to work. And I think that's also part of the reason why that they're focusing down to even more crazier and crazier things, is because the people who are actually giving the money is a smaller and smaller group. They've got to please that smaller and smaller group. I don't even know how, at this point, the Wall Street Journal or any major newspaper or CNN could reverse the trend and start being popular again. It would take at least a year of sucking up and doing things the right way before things even started to return.
Because I don't understand how these people think that there's any money in social justice. Just look at the size of YouTube channels, for instance, or Twitter followers. Compare the biggest feminist social justice warrior person you can think of. Compare that to someone like Sargon of Akkad. They won't have nearly as many numbers.
Well, my theory on that whole thing is that it's their education. They were never taught how to think for themselves. They were never taught how to reason things out. The first thing that I thought of when I started seeing a lot of the trends and stuff, when I started doing my failed supercut of 36 questions women have for men, the first thing I did was go and say, hey, I wonder who's more popular. And it took me a while to figure out YouTube, but I managed to figure out a way to count the top 50 videos under, feminism, and then went through one at a time and said, which one is pro, which one is anti, which one is pro, which one is anti. And when you add it up, it's basically 97% of all views are pro anti-feminism.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. That's where the views are. If you're looking at social justice, but I will tell you this, it took me a good day or two to figure out how to do it. These guys, they don't think for themselves. They are read and remember. They're not read and figure out. They don't. I honestly think that if we were to have, I don't want to say a major, like, in front of the camera guy, but some sort of minor reporter, somebody who does the grunt work, and we had them on our show, we probably discuss the implications of the news far more than they do. I don't think these guys ever even sit down with each other to discuss what's the implication of what happened. What possibilities are there? Just thinking about it, I think, is beyond them. And that's probably why they don't understand they're slitting their own throats. Well, at least that's my take.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I'm sure it makes sense to them how they think, but yeah, it's sad.
I kind of want to use this to segue into a little thing about CNN. I was doing research for a school paper, and I was looking at one of the articles about the Milwaukee riots in 2016, and like the victim, like first of all, the guy that they shot he was black, but he shot by a black guy, and he was armed with a stolen gun that he pointed at another officer, so they shot him. And his sister, what she actually said was they should go burn out down the suburbs, but then apparently what CNN quoted her saying was they should just stop it. And so then they changed it and they have a little footnote at the bottom, it's like brushing it off.
Yeah, I remember that, how they cut it, where it just said, we need to stop this now, at the part of take it to the suburbs.
And then
We
quoted
need
her
our
saying was they should
weaves!
just stop it. Yeah, actually, like, use that segue in the fact that last year I was kind of forced to go to a local Black Lives Matter rally.
You were forced to.
Yeah, I was for. Well, my mom's like ultra liberal, and so she made us go.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. Well, I had one other major thing I wanted to bring up that happened in, well, as far as I'm concerned, I know it's been happening for a while now, but it's finally reached the point where I've noticed it. Mass Effect Andromeda. Have you guys? Ouch, hold on one second. Hold on one second, I screwed up the volume.
Okay.
I have no idea how I created the feedback.
Uh-oh. Is it all working right now? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I'm still doing it. I don't know how.
All right.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I only had one other thing to talk about, and I just noticed it's 1:17, and as he said, maybe it is time to wrap this up here because something's going weird with my sound, and it's starting to feedback. So, at this point, clearly my computer's reaching a point where I can't do anymore. So I guess we'll end the stream here. Anybody want to say goodbye? Actually, you can't because I screwed up the volume. At any rate, the Zunthopf Neverborn, the Abyss that Slumbers. Sorry for, the technical difficulties here, but this is probably getting way too long as it is. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice night.